They're going to do it earlier. I guess he's got the stuff he's going to...
I know, I thought it was your birthday present.
No, you're okay.
Probably it's never been done yet in Georgetown. We have two separate events that are taking place. Today is really like you'd call a baseball doubleheader. Beside Jim's 100th birthday, he's also receiving the Boston Post Cane Award as its oldest resident. I'd like to give you a few facts on a brief history of the Boston Post Cane. Mr. Grosier became publisher of the Boston Post newspaper in October of 1891. In August of 1909, Mr. Grosier wrote a letter to the Board of Selectmen in 700 towns, no cities included, in Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. It's unclear why he excluded Connecticut and Vermont, however. With this letter, he gave specific instructions that this gold-headed ebony cane be presented with the compliments of the Boston Post to the oldest male citizen of the town, to be used by him as long as he lives, and at his death handed down to the next oldest citizen of the town. The cane would belong to the town and not the person who received it. J.F. Fradley and Company, a New York leading manufacturer of fine canes, made all of the canes from ebony, shipped in 7-foot lengths from the Congo in Africa. They were cut in cane lengths, seasoned for 6 months, turned on lathes to the right thickness, coated and polished. They had a 14-karat gold head, which you see here, decorated by hand and a ferrule's tip. The head was engraved with the inscription, presented by the Boston Post to the oldest citizen of the town, in this case, Georgetown. The Board of Selectmen were to be the trustees of the cane and keep it always in the hands of the oldest citizen. In 1930, after considerable controversy, eligibility for the cane was open to women as well. But the feminine issue did not end there, as some women were not enthusiastic about divulging their true age. In 1924, Mr. Brozier died, and the Boston Post was taken over by his son Richard, who failed to continue his father's success. At one time, the Boston Post was considered the nation's leading standard-sized newspaper in circulation. Competition from other newspapers, radio, and television contributed to the decline of the Post, and it went out of business in 1957. The custom of the Boston Post cane took hold in the towns lucky enough to have canes. As years went by, some of the canes were either lost, stolen, burned, taken out of town and not returned to the selectmen, or destroyed by accident. Over the years, there are canes that have journeyed thousands of miles away to the West Coast. They were found and returned to their native town years later. Georgetown has kept their Boston Post cane safe and secure by storing it safely in the town hall basement vault after the formal presentation is made. So after the news photographers have finished with their pictures, I've been instructed by the town clerk to return the cane to the town hall vault. Through all this chaos, the canes have endured and now celebrate their 102nd birthday since 1909, just 2 years prior to the birth of this year's recipient, Mr. Jim Boynton of Georgetown, born in 1911. The town of Georgetown congratulates you as the recipient of this award, which began in August of 1909. Yeah. There you go. We also have a proclamation that Dave here is going to read.
Okay, whereas James H. Boynton, a longtime resident of the town of Georgetown, was a member of the Georgetown Park and Recreation Commission, served as a board of director of the Georgetown Savings Bank, charter member of the Kiwanis Club, director of Camp Leslie 4-H, past coach, teacher, and principal at the Pearly School and Georgetown High School. And whereas James H. Boynton was born on July 12, 1911, and is 100 years of age. And whereas the Board of Selectmen of the town of Georgetown proclaimed James H. Boynton as the oldest citizen of the town of Georgetown. And whereas the Board of Selectmen present James H. Boynton with the Post cane, and whereas the historic tradition presenting the Boston Post cane to its oldest citizen began in 1909 by the Boston Post newspaper and has continued throughout New England for the past 102 years. Now, therefore, we, C. David Surface, Gary C. Fowler, Philip Trapani, Stephen Smith, and Stuart Eggenberg, selectmen of the town of Georgetown, do hereby call upon all citizens to recognize James H. Boynton as the oldest citizen of Georgetown. In witness thereof, we have to set our hands and cause to be affixed the official seal of Georgetown this 12th day of July 2011.
In addition to this proclamation, we have another one here by Bruce Carr, who is Senator. Come in and join us.
All right, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. I thought it was very interesting that Selectman Surface read a proclamation that encouraged all the citizens of Georgetown to celebrate your birthday, Jim. And by my count, we've got about 2/3 here already. And by the end of this party, we'll have the rest of them. But the very first thing we've got to do, and I don't know if any of you know this, but my colleague in the house, Jim, has a wonderful singing voice. And it would be very, very bad if we got through this without singing happy birthday to you. So Jim is going to lead all of us, and we're going to sing, before I make this presentation, we're going to sing happy birthday. So is everybody ready? Yeah! All right, Jim. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday Jim will be appearing at the Legion on Friday night at 7 p.m. for your listening pleasure. But to this, Jim, it is a real honor to be able to come and celebrate your 100th anniversary and also to participate in this wonderful tradition of the Boston Post cane. And I think it's very significant that the publisher of the Boston Post actually had the wisdom to think about the fact that someone who's been around for this many years has been raising cane for all of us. Gets the cane in order to symbolize that. But Jim, not only have you lived 100 years, you lived 100 good years so far. With all the things that you've been involved in the community that was in David's resolution on behalf of the Board of Selectmen, you've shown us that it's important not just to live in a town, but to be part of the life of the town. And you certainly have done that, and we all very, very much appreciate that. So I have for you an official citation from the Commonwealth and myself and my colleagues in the Senate, and also from Jim and the House delegation. And it reads, and I'm going to scooch down a little bit so I can read this to you. They'll listen in, okay? You don't have to. I'm not going to tell you. So this reads, be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to James H. Boynton in recognition of the joyous occasion of the celebration of your 100th birthday. Look at all the cameras here, pretty impressive. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. Now, just like the tradition was changed a number of years ago to allow women to be eligible to receive the cane, we changed the tradition in the Senate, and this is signed by the first woman Senate President in the history of Massachusetts, Therese Murray. It's attested to by our clerk, William F. Welch. And Jim, I'm proud to offer this to you as your senator, again on behalf of the legislative delegation, on July 12th of 2011. And thank you for showing us by example what it means to be a great citizen. Thank you for the first 100 great years. We look forward to many more. And just happy birthday on behalf of all of us. And congratulations.
Smile, Grandpa. Look happy. All right.
All right. Everybody over here get a picture. The cameras are everywhere, Jim. It's unbelievable. Oh my!
Wow. Are you feeling special yet? Whatever you want. Whack a few people with. Yeah. I'm ready for a little.
Pauline from the Council on Aging is going to have a couple of words for us. Letting Jim Flowers.
I'm married. Yes, I know. What do you mean the Council on Aging? We really enjoyed, I've been here and I've enjoyed every minute of knowing that I've been here. The days that we've been here, they tell me about a crazy Then one day he found me running down the stairs and he said, no running in the stairs. And I said, I'm sure. What was the first girl that you said that to in this building? He said, no, he's normally be the last. But in all of the history, you would pick up your penny. That was on the surface of that penny. But just wonderful stories. graduating classes and helping a number of children going on to secondary school. That was really special to me. It was nice to be able to hear. I'm so glad.
We have a few minutes, if you care to. We're going to go over the biography of some of the items that Mr. Boynton has been involved with over the years.
Well, these were, Carolyn and Jen were kind enough to send me notes so that I could put together a narrative and some biography to be able to share with our legislators so that they would know how special this man is. So I'll just share with you what I wrote for it. James Jim Henry Boynton was born in Haverhill on July 12, 1911 to Willard Rollins Boynton and to Connie Elvira Fletcher Boynton. Jim was the oldest of 3 children and still is. Jim's brother, 97, Harold, lives in Connecticut and spends summers on Mohegan Island in Maine, while his sister Marion, 89 years old, lives in Connecticut. On December 25th, 1934, Jim married his high school sweetheart, Helen, Marguerite Chapman of Groveland. Spending most of their adult lives in Georgetown, Jim and Helen raised their 3 children, Beverly Ann, Judith Helen, and James Henry Jr., in several homes in Georgetown. Jim also has 6 grandchildren and 18 great-grandchildren, and that's just increased, right? We have 1 more now. Jim graduated from Groveland High School in 1928 and earned his bachelor's degree from Springfield College in 1933 and his master's degree from Salem State College in 1964. He began his career in education by teaching world history, problems of democracy, civics, economics, biology, and U.S. history from 1936 to 1941 at Hurley High School. During a 5-year teaching stint at Haverhill High School, he taught U.S. history and civics from 1942 to 1946. He returned to Hurley High School in Georgetown in 1947, where he served as principal until 1961, when he moved on to fill the position of principal at Georgetown High School until 1962. He served as principal of Georgetown High School for 10 years until his retirement in 1972. And during his years at the Georgetown School Department, he also coached soccer, baseball, and girls and boys basketball. Jim also maintained an active presence in Georgetown's community life. He is a former member of the Georgetown Park and Recreation Commission, the Georgetown Savings Bank Board of Directors, and a charter member of the Georgetown Kiwanis Club. Jim also served as director of 4-H Camp Leslie for 16 years and is a past president of the Essex County Principals Association and a past principal of the Hurley Free School Fund. During his life, Jim has worked in at least 28 different jobs, which was just fascinating to me to read. He began his long work history as a youth by delivering papers from Groveland Center to the Georgetown line. He mowed lawns for 50 cents to $1, sold Christmas cards for a Beverly, Massachusetts company, babysat for local families, and sold birch trees along the Merrimack River, which were used to craft memorial baskets. He worked as a winger in ice houses located in Groveland and Georgetown. He pumped gas in Groveland Center, cleaned a barn a few times a year, picked up license plates, and sold Mayflowers on Merrimack Street in Haverhill for 50 cents a punch. In college, Jim worked at the West Springfield Post Office, earning 65 cents per hour. He worked as a janitor at college, sweeping and dusting pen rooms, and he guarded the fence at the Eastern States Exposition and worked as an usher during the afternoon auto races. He served as a soccer referee at Governor Dummer Academy in Byfield and was a camp counselor at Camp Beckoning. Along with his brother Harold, Jim brought Christmas cards from the Macanese Card Company in Boston, where Harold's father-in-law was a manager. Using several trips, the 2 brothers gathered all the cards they could for $50 and sold the cards to Mitchell's Department Store in Haverhill for 2 cents per card, making a profit. Following college, Jim worked in a laundry truck route in southern New Hampshire, through West Newbury and Merrimack, and into Haverhill. While he was teaching at Haverhill High, he delivered orders on Fridays and Saturdays for the Bishop's Market in Georgetown, and he drove a Cushman truck route at Cobbett Pond in Salem, New Hampshire. In addition to his years teaching at Haverhill High School, Hurley School, and Georgetown High School, and he's worked as principal at both Hurley High School and Georgetown High School. Jim also worked at Governor Dummer Academy, overseeing college board exams and refereeing soccer games. He worked as physical director at Haverhill YMCA on Saturdays and worked for Gin Florist in Haverhill, waiting on customers and watering plants, bringing supplies for gin, and making deliveries on his way home from school. He was also served as a trustee of Hurley, which we've been very proud of. So, not a dull moment. Really, there's not many work that you haven't done. You did. You helped a lot to go to college. And I know that's something you're very, very proud of. And you know a lot of kids in your families. Thank you for that.